Hello again, Week with Will. I am back. I am in a schedule. I am going to do this. I'm holding off a little bit on the football side of things because I'm going to wait to see how the transfer window settles down. Obviously, if you're watching this very, very quickly, and the moment it comes out, I will be going live on that. Then afterwards, I'm going to have a look at each sort of major signing within the January transfer window. Do I think they're good? Do I think they're bad? Do I think they help the team in any way, shape, or form? For the moment, though, this is Week with Will. This is having a look at what's happened so far in previous week, I suppose. And this will actually be an actual week. Obviously, I'm very chipper and very happy and upbeat now. However, my week started off really, really, really poorly, really rubbish. Despite having sort of gone to the sort of cinema with my partner and sort of had a good time and maybe had a little bit too much pick and mix, the actual Monday I was very ill and sort of very much so on the Tuesday, so I was not really very mobile. I was half passed out across my sofa with sort of YouTube videos like Sidemen Left Running and things like that. So I didn't obviously manage to get up to too much there. My Monday was also a bit of a horrible, a bit of a rubbish day for me personally, because not only was I being sick quite a lot, it was also like the passing of my family dog, which I think sort of saw coming in some respects, but even then it still doesn't make it nice, doesn't make it enjoyable, and it's sort of, I know my family's had pets before, I can accept that, but it's more the fact that like I was very, very attached to this dog. I personally felt like I was always his favourite. He'd always come to make such a fuss of me every time I went over to my parents, because I used to obviously walk. I used to walk him a lot. I used to give him lots of fuss, lots of attention, and it was just also like a sign in the fact that anytime like had big family events and small children running around everywhere, dog absolutely hates that. Comes to me, like I am the safe space. I'm the safe person to be around. I'm the comfortable person to be around for him, which obviously sort of meant a lot, that he had a lot of like trust and faith in me as well. So I mean that's sort of I think I'll come to terms with that one, but I think that one still bothers me a little bit, I suppose. After sort of that Monday and Tuesday, I did manage to get back into work. Unfortunately managed to miss Tuesday night football, so I'm hoping to get back into that again tomorrow. Nice early kickoff, so some friends would argue good chance to be able to run and go to the pub, but by the by there. So I was very much in the office for the rest of the week, well, the 3-day week I suppose, Wednesday through to Friday. Wednesday was essentially a catch-up day for which I could catch up on any of my topographical surveys and any of my major building surveys, helping sort of the CAD tech, helping try and just clear up, because at this moment in time, just because of how jobs have lined up within the office space, there's sort of been a backlog of CAD work, so our CAD technicians absolutely sort of running on fumes, doing absolutely everything, just almost overworked to the extent, and I think it's sort of, sometimes I know you get paid for said role, but this is someone that I don't often think gets necessarily as much appreciation as they arguably deserve, because I think they're very, very good at what they do, and because of that, they end up getting given a lot more work. Just unfortunately, two sides to the coin, I suppose. From that, there was also a bit of a funny one, a bit of a funny experience on the Thursday and Friday. My manager was off. I think it might have been moving house or other sort of personal reasons, which then put me in charge of the office, not necessarily taking up all of the roles and responsibilities of my manager. However, it's a case of answering emails, chasing up jobs, relaying information onto the other surveyors available, Sometimes occasionally talking to clients in regards to work, having to relay sort of some smaller jobs off to other clients or other members of staff, having to amend sort of the calendar, not obviously being a bit too sort of big-headed. I suppose the one thing that it was just the one individual in the office that I think that I've actively felt made my role difficult. I think generally speaking, everyone is within our office space is sort of very self-sufficient anyway, and there's only little questions here and there, which is helpful and is good because I mean the set office sometimes on some days can run itself, which is really nice, really good, and I'm sort of happy to have that. However, there was one individual, obviously in a similar role, not necessarily happy with the roles and responsibilities of me planning his work. Got very particular, a little bit bitty. Didn't necessarily like the fact that whilst having had these additional roles, I am also trying to help catch up with the drawing work, helping catch up with the measured building survey side of things, including his actual measured building survey, which got me a little bit sort of frustrated, sort of not being able to just put my earphones in and get on with the work because he felt like he needed to communicate something with me, of which at this moment in time he didn't need to communicate with me. He seemed to be very frustrated potentially over the role that or how I was potentially doing anything. However, I tried to act calm, tried to act cool over this, and I'd like to think relay the information clearly. It's like, okay, why have you given me these emails? I'm trying to give you as much insight as possible. Don't have the information on those emails. Right, okay, bear with me. I will resend any attachments that I've received over this and send it over to you. Right, well, this doesn't say anything. Moaning and complaining and grumbling, which I slightly expect better for someone of his age, being someone that's older than me, does not act maybe as much of a petulant child, and then having to relay that, just like the other manager, this information is available to you just as the other manager would do, sort of through sort of job quotations and the plan and a link which I can send to you. It's just like, oh, there's a red roof there. Well, there's a roof marked in red. Yes, that's the work I want you to do. This is the same sort of information and structure and way of information. Maybe I'm trying to give him too much. Maybe he wants it simplified. Maybe he doesn't care. I'm working on the basis that when I'm relaying information onto someone, that they're showing the same level of care and interest that I do. Sometimes I can arguably care too much over certain jobs and certain roles and certain things. And I suppose sometimes that gets a little bit frustrating if it's not necessarily reciprocated in some ways. Like, I get that, and I suppose that's something that I have to learn because obviously management side of things is a case of learning how to manage people and sort of be more of a people person. My main form of communication with people is here. It is usually via TikTok as well. Relaying stuff onto that is I'm not necessarily the most comfortable conversationalist, being very awkward and very uncomfortable on many occasions with people. So obviously I think this was sort of a solid enough run, I think, for a couple of days. The manager should be back in again this week. So that day sort of just, I don't know, it sort of stressed me out and I needed to sort of vent and have someone to talk to, which I was a bit annoyed about, but hey ho, that's done now. I will get sort of bigger, further stints with greater roles and responsibilities later on in the year because I think the manager will go away on holiday again. So I'm hoping that I can try and learn potentially how best to handle maybe that individual. Like I generally think most people are self-sufficient. I don't need to say anything. It's only little bits if they're worried or concerned that they can come to me and we can relay sort of that information on. So, I mean, it's all a lesson. Like I'd still say that I'm not necessarily 100% perfect within my role. I'd still say that I will always be looking to develop and progress in any way I can with my role because I don't think, do I believe I'm hitting every single target to the best of my ability? Not necessarily. Do I think I could be quicker on certain things? Yes. Do I think I could be clearer on certain things? Yes. I'm not going to start pushing for trying to be a manager permanent or anything like that when I know full well that I've got tasks and roles and responsibilities that I need to work on, that I need to develop going forward. So that's obviously something that it's personal development for me to sort of get down, get right, and move forward. Obviously, this actual week in itself, moving aside from work, struggled to go to the gym. I think I only managed to go twice throughout last week. I believe it was the Friday and the possibly, I can't remember, it was even the Saturday or Sunday. I've been again today, but it's sort of paying a little bit of catch up because I don't want to push my body if I've just sort of been recovering from a bug or an illness or whatever on earth managed to take me or control over me. It's sort of very stressful. On the actual Saturday, we managed to have our Friends Secret Santa. Yes, start of February, Friends Secret Santa, going to, I think it's the Stag Cafe around Elmswell for a nice full English. Absolutely love that place because that's a proper English. Absolutely lovely. I'm very happy with what I've got. I still haven't fully assembled it. Obviously, I've got a bit of a love for Lego, so I've got another thing to add to my collection. I might sort of show that off at some point once it's fully done. Might be the title picture. Haven't decided yet. You'll probably see before you're hearing all of this. So that's sort of something I'm currently working on, which sort of, well, when I've got the spare time, obviously I think I managed to just keeping very busy, sort of doing bits around the house, and then obviously going off to football as I managed to get hold of tickets for the Ipswich Southampton game, which you can sort of see a little bit of TikTok and highlights on Sky Now, I suppose. Which obviously did not go very well, not as planned, as very, very disappointing. I think the seat I was at was very far at the back with slightly restricted view, so I might try and be a bit more mindful going forward of potential seats that I can use and can sit in going forwards, going to games. I don't have any more home games lined up, but I will be looking at going to Villa Park for Ipswich's away game there in a couple of weeks. So I guess a break this FA Cup week this coming weekend. So I'll have a break from that because I'm not going to travel to Coventry. So that's sort of something to look forward to within the calendar itself. And then I suppose on Sunday it was a case of doing bits around the house, trying to go for a run, trying to train up for my 10k. I'm still trying to work out an adequate 10k route. I think I managed 8k or so, which I think he did very. I was sort of didn't feel too bad, to be honest. I think as long as I sort of kept. Once I started to get into a rhythm. I mean, I probably looked like an absolute mess, an absolute state. But after a few kilometres, when I had music in, I didn't necessarily feel the stress of trying to keep up with some people. Because some of the people I go running with are naturally very good runners and run very quick. And I naturally I know I shouldn't, but there's that competitive side of things. Like, I need to keep up with them. I need to go this fast and go this far. And I think if I'm going to last and do a longer period of time, I need to be more comfortable at going up my own pace and staying at my own pace. It reminds me, I need to remind said friends over doing said 10k, which I should be, well, I haven't done now, but I will be messaging them later on. So, I mean, that's sort of something to setting myself a fitness goal to look forward and push forward to. So that'll be sort of still doing the Harmonious Wellness Club, trying to look at doing the 5Ks in the morning, trying to occasionally do the odd run within the weekend, sort of once I've worked out potentially better routes, and as long as there's sort of progressively going to be more daylight, I will have more of an opportunity to, because I don't really want to be running in the dark. Some areas of Ipswich are probably a bit nicer and maybe a bit safer than others, so I'd rather do it in the light just for my own safety and my own well-being. And then the Sunday in itself also had another live. It was the Arsenal-Manchester City game, which I thought went very well. Sort of several sort of followers there. So this is continuously growing. I will have another live actually tonight. If anyone is watching this beforehand, go on that, show us some love, much appreciated. We'll be looking at the transfer window, and then there'll be a follow-up YouTube video coming out later this week to go over that. I thought thank you on that very much on all the love I've had on the TikTok side of things. I need a bit more love on the YouTube side of things as well, unfortunately, as well, because although the TikTok is progressing, YouTube has stagnated a little bit. So I need people to be liking, sharing, all over their news feeds on Facebook. I'm looking at all of you. I know half of my subscribers straight off the bat. Like, share, give us some love. I want to hear and see more. I want more involvement. I want more people. I want more. Obviously, I'm not ambitious enough to try and push myself into any big YouTuber scene, but I want this to be a channel that does naturally start to grow, start to develop. Obviously, it's not necessarily, I don't necessarily know what expectations I had on that, but I still want it to be growing and developing in some way, whether it's a small way, whether it's a big way. I want it getting bigger and better. So there's a few potential ideas I've got going forward to try and help aid that, but that might require me sort of getting a few more cameras or potentially a GoPro. I'll leave your imagination running as to what that might be. So, I mean, very much this weekend has felt like a bit isolated with the actual job role, with sort of being ill, being sort of by myself for football and lives and stuff like that. So my main song that I have going to recommend is Solo by Miles Smith. I've mentioned him multiple times. I absolutely love him. He's definitely on my list of people I need to see live. It can come across a little bit melancholy, but I absolutely love it. Anything he does, that guitar, absolutely beautiful, absolutely amazing. I'll see you all next time.